You can add individual breakpoints to your automation by selecting the grabber tool and then just clicking where you want those automation breakpoints to occur. And then it's easy to click on them and reposition them in any way that you choose. You can also nudge breakpoints by making a selection and using your nudge back and nudge forward commands. And you can see that I'm nudging that particular automation backwards and or forwards with my nudge keys. You can also choose different nudge values up here by selecting the pop-up menu and then choosing the type of nudge value you want. So beats and bars, maybe quarter note values, and then I could move these by individual quarter notes. So you can choose your nudge values up here to nudge your automation data. You can move these individually using the grabber tool, or you can make a selection and then nudge them forward or back. Now let's say we're going to add some automation data here on a particular group of tracks, in this case the drums. So if we want to edit these or add some automation data to these drums, we certainly could do that. And the same applies. If you make a selection on some group tracks and then nudge those, it will nudge all of the individual controls, automation controls, for each individual track that's a member of that group. There are other tools that you can use to draw automation. We just mentioned you can use the grabber tool to add breakpoints and then maneuver those breakpoints. You can also use the pencil tool to draw in specific freehand drawings of what you want the automation to do. If you click and hold down on the pencil tool, you can also select a variety of other pencil tools that are available other than the freehand tool. For example, the line tool. You could use the line tool to draw a specific line from one location to another. And you can see that there are a variety of other tools that you could play with, pencil tools, and you could have these locked to the grid. So whatever your grid value is selected as dictates the pattern that will be drawn. So in this case, we'll draw a triangle, but it's going to be based on half note grids instead of quarter note grids. So those are a variety of the options that are available to draw automation using the pencil tool. Just as you can cut, copy, and paste audio in Pro Tools, you can also do the same thing with automation data. So we can make a selection like this, and we can just delete that data. We could also take that data and copy it and place our cursor there and paste the data. There is a difference in Pro Tools between cutting automation and using the delete key to delete automation. Let me give you an example of those differences. If we come up here and select this area and hit delete, it's going to delete this particular breakpoint. So now our automation data will go from here out to here somewhere. So we've deleted that breakpoint. Now, let me undo that. And if we cut using Command X, if we cut that data, when you cut the data, it places a breakpoint at the end of each selection. So now when we cut this data, it's placed a breakpoint there and placed a breakpoint there and deleted the breakpoint in between. So there is a difference between deleting, using the delete key, and cutting the automation data. When we cut automation data, it places a breakpoint on either side of our selection. And when we delete automation data, it just deletes the breakpoint or breakpoints within the selection. I've made a couple of moves here to my pan automation controls on this guitar track. If we want to take and copy this data and place it onto the volume control, we basically can't do that. So now I'll try to paste it. You'll see it doesn't work. However, if I go over here and select right there and say paste it, it also doesn't change the volume data, but when we go back to pan, you'll see that it did change the pan data. So when you're cutting, copying, or pasting, you can only work with one automation control at a time. And you can only paste it to the same automation type that you're working with. If you want to copy a piece of audio and you're in the waveform view, and you select copy, and then go back here to the end of the piece somewhere and just paste this in, Pro Tools will copy all of the available automation that lies underneath that particular selection and will copy that as well. So you'll notice here that it also copied part of my volume change as well as part of the pan changes that I made that were contained within the selection. There are 3 paste special modes in Pro Tools. Let's talk about those right now. They're all found under the Edit drop-down menu, the Paste Special menu, and you'll see there are 3 available: Merge, Repeat the Fill Selection, and to Current Automation Type. Let me talk about Merge first. Essentially, this is used for MIDI data, and it does the same type of thing that MIDI Merge button does right here. It allows you to essentially merge MIDI data from one track to another. So you'll use that function if you wanted to, say, merge some MIDI notes from one part or MIDI track onto another MIDI track or part without deleting the underlying data. So it'll just merge those 2 pieces of data. The next is repeat to fill selection. If we make a selection like this and copy it, we can then choose the length of our selection that we want this to repeat, say out to here. And then we can go up to the Edit drop-down menu, go to Paste Special, and Repeat to Fill Selection. And what Repeat to Fill Selection does is it fills in with our copied data all the way to the end of that selection. And it will do complete iterations up until the selection ends, and then it will fill in with a partial iteration of our copied data. The last available option under the Edit drop-down menu is Paste to Current Automation Type. So what that means is that if we copy, say, this pan information right here, and we decided we wanted to paste that to volume information, we could do that by going up here and saying Paste to Current Automation Type. So yes, indeed, I did lie earlier in the last segment when I said you can only paste one automation type to another. That's using the regular paste command. If you use the paste special command, you can paste this automation to any particular automation type. So that is the paste special mode, merge, repeat to fill selection, and paste to current automation type. In each of these automation playlists or automation lanes, there are individual breakpoints here. You can add those, as you remember, by using the grabber tool and clicking. You can also use the pencil tool. And if we want to delete any of this information, we can do that by holding down the Option modifier key and then clicking on a specific breakpoint. We can also make a selection, and all of the breakpoints that are contained in that selection will be deleted. Again, if we use the delete key, it won't place any breakpoints on either side of that selection. And if we use cut, Command X, it will place breakpoints on either side of the selection. You can also delete all of the automation in a selection by choosing Control and Delete. And you'll notice that it removes the volume information as well as the pan information. Remember that when a clip is moved, its automation data moves with it. And also, when a plugin insert is removed or changed, the corresponding automation data that you may have programmed into that plugin is also deleted.